Hey there, Postal here. So we've got a pretty good week lined up for you. 3 planes. I already know exactly what I'm going to be flying this week when it comes to my YouTube videos. So one of the planes I'm going to be flying is going to be the IL-10M. This is a plane that was just gifted to me over the weekend, and a review has been requested on it. This is a Tier 8 Chinese ground attacker premium. So we're going to take a look at that and my thoughts on that plane. Another plane that was requested was this big boy, the B-29C. This is Tier 8 premium American bomber. A complete behemoth, but also incredibly strong. It's more than just big. It's a very, very strong plane. And in the right hands, it's basically an auto win. I'm not sure I'm the right hands, but we'll take a look at that. But this today, we're going to be starting with the XP-54 that was requested. I guess I tend to avoid the overpowered planes quite a bit, and so I've gotten a request for a couple overpowered planes, this being one of them. Let's go ahead and let's take a quick look at the battle. Alright, so we're taking out the XP-54, excuse me. A plane I haven't flown all that often, actually. I just took a look. I've got 2 hours and 15 minutes of flying time in this particular plane. It's just too easy. Now, obviously, it's not going to be too easy in everybody's hands. You've got to kind of know, you've obviously got to know the strengths and weaknesses of your particular plane. But you've also got to know the strengths and weaknesses of the planes that you're up against. What are the strengths of this plane? Everything. Speed. Its altitude performance is pretty good for Tier 6. Remember, we are a Tier 6. The guns are overpowered. You've got Tier 8 cannons. In fact, they're better than Tier 8 cannons. They're better than the cannons that are on the XP-58 at Tier 8. You only get 2 of them, but does it really matter when you can melt down targets that quickly? You've got great maneuverability. What else? Yeah, it's a great all-around plane, right? You can dogfight multi-rolls and come out on top. Like literally turn fight with multi-rolls and come out on top. Even the Tier 7s, the FW, it's Tier 6, never mind. P-47Bs, yeah, I can outrun them. So what kind of issues are we going to run into? What are the weaknesses of this plane? Every plane's got to have some sort of weakness, right? Right? The biggest weakness of this plane, honestly, is its airframe is pretty weak. What do I mean by that? It's fragile. It can't really take hits, but it doesn't really matter if you're giving out the hits like this. But do keep that in mind. You can't just get yourself stuck into a ridiculous battle and take a bunch of hits and expect to come out on top. You don't have the hit points. Your airframe can't take the hits, so be mindful of that. On top of that, you've got a rear-facing engine, so be mindful of its capabilities and the fact that rear-facing engines tend to get knocked out a little bit more than forward-facing engines. You'll notice I have a manual engine restart on this particular plane. I don't always have on my heavy fighters, especially. But I'd rather be safe than sorry when it comes to this plane. The fact of the matter is, if you get your engine knocked out, your airframe's not strong enough to be able to take whatever damage you're about to take from the enemy. Let's go for Carl here, because Carl's coming at us. Going for the plane that's coming at us makes it easier to actually get him. And we're just kind of coasting. Set a P-51K on fire with just a couple shots. There we go. I'm going to leave that P-47 alone. Let's go capture it. Not that I can't take him on, but it's not in the mood to go beat up on him. I've got such a different mentality when I'm in this plane. Because it literally is easy mode. As long as I'm paying attention to the map. Tier 6, Tier 7. Ooh, speaking of paying attention to the map. Doesn't matter the tier. This plane's just going to absolutely wreck everything that it comes in contact with. And it's just all about making sure that you don't take any hits. And I don't mean like survivability wise, like, oh, that means I need to have a bunch of, I need, you know, all the armor in the world. Now, I'm kind of a glass cannon, but it's a very fast, very maneuverable, heavy-hitting glass cannon. Like, it's not one of those glass cannons that can't defend itself in any way, shape, or form. This thing defends itself with its ridiculous armament, with its crazy speed, and it's not a turn fighter maneuverability, but it's a hell of a lot more turny than anything else that it's going to be going against as far as heavy fighters and even most multi-role fighters. Obviously, you don't want to get into a turn fight with like a Yak 9, things of that nature. But, you know, an FW-190, whoopity-doo, a P-47, whoopity-doo. I'll take them any day of the week. Now, speaking of the Yak 9, it is one of those planes that you need to watch out for because again, you can't take hits, and Yak 9 has the ability to do some pretty heavy damage before you even know that they're around. That's one of those planes that you need to watch out for. Mustang 1As, you need to watch out for them. The other Tier 6 heavies can all be pains in the butts if they go out of their way to be pains in the butts. Do I go for this P-47? Nope, I'm paying attention to the P-47 and not. I guess I do, he's here. Was not expecting that. Oh man. Can I get another kill? There we go. Sure we can. Let's go get a bomber, I guess. I mean, what is even near us? We're melting down everything that's near us, right? We are. Where's the timer on this battle? I don't even know. We're not. Not but a few minutes into the battle. Got a McGuire. Got it and everything, right? Am I having fun? Sure, I'm having a hell of a lot of fun. Am I finding this difficult? No, not at all. It's tier 6, so it's not hard to get this thing specialized. I've got it specialized. And it's just, it's too much. It's too much. If the cannons were, they're 37mm cannons with 50 caliber machine guns. If the 37mm cannons were just slightly weaker, I think that would make this plane a lot more balanced. The fact that we just saw it on that P-47B, you know, killed him with a shot that I can't believe actually landed. This plane does that kind of stuff all the time. The two 37mm cannons on the front just completely wreck enemies, and it throws it off. The speed, the altitude performance, the maneuverability. Oh, is this guy getting... Come on, dude, I don't want to shoot you. I'm literally trying not to shoot you. Alright, fine. Everything else about it can be, you know, can be chalked up to whatever, but the cannons, the fact that the cannons just completely, absolutely wreck everything. Oh, man. That's what makes this plane overpowered. It's completely the guns. If they could just reset the guns a little bit, put 30mm cannons on it, or significantly reduce the damage that you're able to do at tier 6, it would change the way that this plane interacts with the rest of tier 6. And this was a tier 7 battle. Alright, so now we're in another tier 7 battle. It looks like we've got a P-51A on our team. They've got a Key 102, which could be a pain. Oh, they've also got that B-32 again, which won't be a pain. Well, I say that, but the fact is, remember, the XP-54's airframe is fragile. So we need to be mindful of that. Let's go ahead and get on over here. So the Key 102 is really the only scary thing on the enemy team, although I do need to watch out for something like an F4U could actually be a big pain. It's one of those planes that anything with reasonable maneuverability, reasonable speed, and 20mm cannons can definitely hurt this plane. Remember, the strength of this plane is in its cannons being able to absolutely just completely wreck an enemy before it has the opportunity to react. I mean, look what I'm doing here, like turn fighting with freaking fighters, killing them in 2 shots. Again, is this fun? Sure, it's fun. Is it exciting? It's not really exciting. It's kind of boring. To me, I equate it to, did you ever have those friends who'd be playing Tekken and they'd automatically put it on easy? And you're like, well, why, but what's the challenge in playing Tekken on easy? That's what we're doing here. We are playing Tekken on easy. Are we going to lose every once in a while? Sure. It's going to happen. Enemy team's going to actually coordinate. Speaking of getting hurt here, probably going to get hurt. But what the hell? A full health B-32 dead in, what, 4 seconds? And I barely took any damage. Anyway, is there a challenge to playing Tekken on easy? No. Is it fun? I mean, I guess for a little while, but it gets really boring really quickly when you know that you're gonna, you know, come out on top in 90% of your engagements. Dang it, I should not have rammed that guy. I thought he was gonna turn away, but I should have known that big chunky thunderbolts like the ram, as they probably should. Because they are big chunky thunderbolts. So I'm kind of in a precarious position here, just based on my health pool. P-51s, again, not really a big deal. I'm gonna play defense mode here, because that's, again, we want frickin' personal points. Dang it. Didn't get my cannons on. I thought he was gonna dive up, so I was trying to aim a little bit high. And yeah, so I don't find it enjoyable to play this plane. They need to balance it properly. I mean, what, we're a few minutes into the battle, and we are already completely just trouncing the enemy team. They've got 2 ground attackers over there, so let's go get them. It looks like one of them just died. Looks like P-51A is taking down the Key 102, so not even having to worry about that. I think that guy's going to be dead by the time we get there. Yep. Yep. I mean, if you're worried about win percentage, then this is the plane to go for. Your win percentage is certainly going to skyrocket. If you're trying to become a better pilot, this is actually a really bad plane for that, because you're going to do stuff that you should never do in a heavy plane. Simply because this plane can get itself out of a bad situation simply by pummeling an enemy into submission. It's not actually taking skill. It's just getting the cannons on target. So we're going to do that. The skill that we've got right now is to not capture enemy sectors. It's to literally do the opposite of what this plane is built to do, because it's just being too easy right now. Again, this is one of those planes right there, this Corsair, that could actually be a pain in our butt. Let's get rid of him. He's got just enough turnability and just heavy enough hitting cannons to actually hurt me. He's ignoring me, so you know, he's gonna be dead. I guess we're gonna go to the center here and help capture. No, I don't want to capture it. No, we don't want to capture it. Oh crap! I guess we're gonna capture it. We're gonna capture it anyway. I might as well get in on the action.
We have complete
Dang it!
of the skies.
Failing. I'm failing to suck. You know, which is kind of the MO of this plane, I guess. Yeah, so I mean, if you're trying to build up your win percentage for some weird reason, if you're one of those people that you're playing World of Warplanes, that has significantly less people playing it than any other wargaming titles, and you want to be the top win percentage dog in this particular game? Well, here's the plane for you. But yeah, that's about it. Quick and easy kills here. Hopefully I can get one more kill before the game's over.
Great job today.
Couldn't even get the kill, could I? Or did I? Did he just die at the end? I don't know. Didn't get 14,000 again. Again, because the time went by. This was a minute shorter than the first battle, but at least I was killing more targets in sectors. Let's head back. Alright, so that first battle, tier 7, got 17 kills. Wasn't really even close to dying. Didn't get 14,000 personal points, which was kind of a shame. But I was killing a lot of targets outside of sectors. And I literally had to go out of my way to say, okay, you know, mentally I was like, okay, I don't want to go try to capture that mining facility because I knew that if we did, the game would be over in 5 minutes instead of 6 minutes and 45 seconds. I had to find things to do that wouldn't allow us to get air superiority because then the game would be over too quickly. That's the main reason I don't fly this plane all that often, is because it's just not... Oh, there was actually 2 players on the enemy? Oh, the B-32 was an enemy. So it was 2 tier 7s versus 2 tier 6s. I didn't even notice that we had a Spitfire 5. The Spitfire 5 didn't have to do anything, though. Like, the only thing that really could have hurt me would be the F7F if it was trying to. And a Key 102 can be a pain in the butt. It really comes down to who's going to get the first shot off when you're versus a Key 102. I didn't see either one of them, and I'm fairly confident that I would have come out on top anyway, just because of the build of my plane. So in that second battle there, 14 kills, couple sectors captured. It's really like this plane. It makes you literally do the opposite if you want to build up your personal points, which can set you up for failure if you actually try to play an actual plane, an actual heavy fighter, or if you get stuck in a battle against actually really good pilots. You know, I would have loved to run into you know, one of those top 10%ers when I'm in this plane in these couple battles, because then you've actually got a challenge. But then you got to kind of flip a switch. Oh, I need to actually be on top of my game. Whereas here, I don't know. I don't like planes that are not a challenge. I don't find it fun. What I found fun is like just the ridiculousness of the plane. What I find fun is like blowing up a P-47B or N that I should have had no chance of blowing up simply because one of the 37mm cannons hit. That aspect of it was fun. But it's fun because I haven't played this plane in, I don't know, 8 months, maybe longer. I really haven't played this plane in a while. For 2 reasons. One is because it's not a challenge. It's not even... Like, the challenge is me forcing the game into doing things that I want it to do. The challenge is, how do I make it so that we don't get air supremacy? I couldn't even fulfill that challenge in the second battle here. The challenge is, how do I get this game, this particular match, to go a little bit longer, because I've already stomped everybody into existence. I'll avoid the humans just because my thought process is the humans are going to hopefully allow the enemy team to get more sectors. I avoid the humans because I don't want to, you know, punish them 12 times in a battle. The other aspect of it is it's tier 6 is not the end result. So there's a lot of people at tier 6, tier 5, 6, and 7 that, you know, they're still new to the game. Believe it or not, there are new pilots in World of Warplanes every day. I don't want to be going down to tier 6 and just be like, hey, welcome to tier 6. Ugh, take that. And, you know, I don't know. I know I'm not official wargaming anything, but I try to be a diplomat of the game. Try to, you know, welcome new pilots and encourage more people to keep playing. This plane does not encourage anybody to do anything but want to own this plane. There are hard counters to it, and we'll talk about that. Maybe not hard counters, but there's counters to the XP-54. We'll certainly talk about that in just a second. But let's take a look at my overall build, and then I'll get off my soapbox. So I do have this plane specialized. It didn't take long to specialize. Let's take a look at my setup, and I'll explain why I've got this setup afterwards. So I've got ultimate equipment on here. It's not fully maxed out ultimate equipment, but I've got the collimator sight. I've got the engine boost, and I have the... I've actually got a special project in Japan, which I find funny that I put on this plane, but a lightweight power unit. I've also got gas-operated action on here. So you'd say to yourself, what the heck is this build? Well, it's because what the heck is this plane? I want my accuracy as high as possible, because obviously you've got tier 8 cannons on a tier 6 plane. Better than tier 8 cannons. I've got gas-operated action because I want that volume of fire out as much as possible. That, I would say, there's no reason to have anything else on the cockpit and the forward-firing armament equipment. I'm going to argue anybody that says anything different, because the gas-operated action helps not just the 37mm cannons, but also the 50 caliber machine guns. So if for some reason your cannons didn't hit, those machine guns are firing faster, and they'll do that little bit of damage you might need. That's the two items that I say you can't change. Do whatever you want. As far as the engines are concerned, the amount of boost on this plane is significant. I think you start off with 25 or maybe 28 seconds worth of boost. So I've put the engine boost mixture injection system on here. Yes, it reduces your overall boost availability, but it increases your acceleration with the boost activated. It increases your maximum speed with the boost. And since you've got such a large boost pool, lowering the boost availability isn't that big of a deal. And in fact, one of the rolls that I got on here actually helped increase the boost availability anyway. So I don't think 10% boost availability is the worst that you could have with this particular setup. I've still got 22 seconds worth of boost duration. So I guess 25 seconds might be the overall boost duration. So for 3 seconds worth of... 25 seconds might be the base. So for 3 seconds worth of boost duration being taken away, I've significantly increased the top speed and the ability of the boost while I'm using it. I'll take that. The other thing that might be the more questionable item here is the lightweight power unit. But hear me out. I've got the lightweight power unit on here because this plane is actually really maneuverable for a heavy fighter. Let's quantify that, right? It's not going to be out maneuvering Spitfires or anything like that. At least not completely. And for just a second it might. But adding a little bit of maneuverability to this plane allows me to completely dictate going against a lot of the multi-role fighters out there. Again, I'm not going to dogfight a Yak-9. I'm typically not even going to dogfight a Tornado or an F4U unless I'm at an optimum angle. But things, all the less maneuverable multi-role fighters, FWs, P-47s, things of that nature, I can easily outmaneuver those planes. And I can actually stick with the Corsairs and the Yak-9s for just a little while. And that's all you need with these cannons, is just a little while. So having that lightweight power unit has helped significantly in that regard. And so you can see I'm doing a little bit of everything. I'm leaning into the strengths of this plane, the overall speed, the great maneuverability for its plane style, and then its damage output, which is significant. As far as my consumables are concerned, I want to get my pilot back in there as quickly as possible. I've actually got pneumatic control assist on here, which I don't have on a lot of my heavy fighters, but I've got it on this one because, again, I can dogfight when the situation allows, and pneumatic control assist will allow me to get extra turn. I have the engine cooling, which it's engine cooling on a tier 6 heavy fighter. Yes, you want it. And for this particular plane, I've got the manual engine restart for two reasons. One, I've already mentioned, the rear engine tends to get knocked out more often than forward-firing engines. If somebody's behind you in a Swoose Goose, you're probably going to be in a lot of trouble anyway, but just in case, I've got the manual engine restart. The other aspect of it is the lightweight power unit actually reduces your engine's ability to survive, and so having a manual engine restart is helpful in that situation. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. I don't think I even needed to use it in these two battles. The thing with the Swoose Goose is it's more about you doing damage to the enemy before they even have the opportunity to do anything to you. Yes, the airframe is fragile, and I suspect that Wargaming said to themselves, oh, well, yeah, it's a very, very strong output, but, you know, the wings get knocked out easily, the pilot gets knocked out easily, the engine gets knocked out easily. That's all true. But the fact of the matter is, in a above average, hell, probably even an average pilot's capabilities, no, we'll say above average, getting the damage out first when you're in the XP-54 completely changes everything, because it does damage so quickly that it doesn't even allow the enemy to do damage to you. So it doesn't matter how weak of an airframe you've got. You could be flying around in balsa wood. It doesn't matter because you've already killed the enemy before they could do anything, right? There were a couple situations where I took some damage, made myself a little bit weaker, and you saw how quickly I lost HP. But in 2 battles time, that happened twice, I think. So yeah. Universal ammo, because why not? Even without a premium account, universal ammo is going to be worth it, and you could just see the amount of damage that I was able to do. As far as the pilot is concerned, you can throw in any pilot. Any of your high point pilots. I've got my XF-90 pilot in here. I do recommend a pilot that has Marksman 2 and preferably Aerodynamics Expert. Aerodynamics Expert is going to make the engine items here even more impactful. I was tempted to put my F-86 pilot in here. Doesn't have Marksman 2. Would probably still be really good. You don't necessarily need Marksman 2, but it's recommended. So I think my my XF-90 pilot, my P-51H pilot would be another good pilot to put in here. Actually, might even be better because you get a little bit more maneuverability. Where my XF-90's got the engine power. 6 of one, half dozen of another. You're at tier 6. Not everybody's a top pilot at tier 6. There's a lot of people that you can take advantage of their lack of knowledge, and just another reason why the XP-54 is so strong. And again, it's just another reason why I don't play this plane. Yeah, it's fun in short bursts. I would be bored out of my brain if I played this for 10 times in a day. Literally by the 5th or 6th time, I'd be like, oh, okay, this is boring. Like I'd get distracted. I'd be watching, like looking for butterflies or something, watching my cats. It's just not engaging gameplay as far as I'm concerned. But if you're looking to pad your win percentage, I mean, here's and it's tier 6, so it's not even like if it ever comes available again, which to Wargaming's credit, I haven't seen it available. But it's tier 6, so it's not like it's even expensive. It's not like a $50 plane at tier 8 that you are putting a pretty large monetary investment into. Hopefully, getting something back out of this. This would be like $20, I think, maybe, if they ever put it for sale again. But segue. So the next plane that we're going to be taking a look at is either going to be the B-29C, the Big Daddy, which I just specialized. So you guys might see the first game I've ever played in it specialized. Or the next plane will be the IL-10M. Plane I've never owned, obviously, but I've always find fascinating because it's a very maneuverable ground attacker. On paper, it's kind of sort of weak. In practice, though, it's a very sneaky tier 8 ground attacker. So we'll have the ability to take a look at one of these 2 planes on Wednesday. But otherwise, I hope you enjoyed today's video on the XP-54. Sorry if it was a little bit more of a rant, but I suspect every time I fly the XP-54, I'm going to rant almost as much as I do when I see them in a platoon on the enemy team. Really, guys? So I'd love to hear your perspective on it. I do want to say one last thing before I log off here. There's 2 extremes nowadays when you see the XP-54. When it first came out and everybody and their brother was flying it, the vast majority of people were just doing well. Even if they were average pilots, they were able to do really well in this plane, up to really extreme. Now the only time you see this plane is 90% of the time it's a pilot that's flown it 1,000,000 times, and they're really good at it, and they're an extreme pilot. Then like 10% you get somebody that's just like, I don't know how they just got it, but it seems like they just got it, and they don't know what the hell they're doing. I've ran into a couple of those pilots recently. I'm like, that was easy kill. But the majority of the people you run into, if they've flown this, 100+ hours, and take it out so they can buff up their win percentage to 80% plus, 90% plus for some of those pilots. For whatever reason, that makes a difference. So yeah, so keep that in mind. Anyway, I would love to hear your opinion on this plane. Whether it be down in the comments below, you know, I'll respond there, or you can hop in my Discord, which is in the in the description. So yeah, hope you have a wonderful day. And if you didn't like this video, well, hopefully you'll look forward to the B-29C or the IL-10M, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.